welcome to the first instalment of our podcast at Venture Recruitment, the balance sheet. Over the next few weeks, I'll be speaking with several senior leaders from the world of industry, practice, financial recruitment, and exploring their careers and how they've been inspired along the way, as well as any pitfalls that they've made during their journey. We'll be asking a number of hard-hitting questions, as well as finding out what goes on behind the individual, the successful career. And we thought where better to start than to delve into the depths of the Chilworth and Venture story with one of our founding members, Rod Hutchings. Rod is a well-known personality locally in the world of financial recruitment with over 40 years experience. He's built a loyal network of professional relationships during his time, including an international Fortune 500 business, a subsequent sell to an AIM-listed business, and obviously launching Venture in Chilworth with his partner, Richard Carter, in 2010. And most importantly, 6 years ago, Rod was the person that gave me a job when I was looking to embark on a career in recruitment. Rod, thanks for joining me today.
Pleasure. Yes. Great honour to be the first person on this new venture, Andy.
Indeed. Now, before we get into your career, there's a constant theme here at Venture of cake-related activity, which stems from our annual office bake-off, which I think, I'm right in saying you came second in last year.
I did, although I have a slight confession to make. That was, in fact, my daughter's Swiss roll. A very good initiative. Yeah.
Good. So we thought, on the basis of that, we were going to start with, as we will do with all of our podcast episodes, by asking our interviewees what's their favourite cake and why. So I can reveal, Rod, that you have chosen a lemon drizzle.
A lemon drizzle cake. Lovely.
Why lemon drizzle, Rod?
Well, to be honest, I'm not really a big cake eater, but I do like a bit of lemon drizzle. And it's light, it's zingy, it's refreshing, and it very much reminds me of one of my favourite places in the world, which is the Amalfi Coast.
Ah, very nice.
Down in Italy, where the lemons are fantastic. So that's why.
Brilliant. Good. There you go. Bit of lemon drizzle knowledge for you there. So I guess, as I said, what we're going to do is run over your career and sort of how you've grown to get to where you are now. And I guess there's sort of nowhere better to start than sort of the early stage of your career and obviously where you are now. If you could pick one characteristic that you think has underpinned your success over the last 40 years, what would that be and why?
Gosh, that's a tough question. That wasn't one you told me to look out for. I think, the recruitment business, which I fell into, rather than opted to go into, and I'm delighted that it's become much more of a chosen career now. But it's the ultimate people industry. Excuse me. So, so I think one of the key skills that you need in the ultimate people industry is to be able to listen well. So I would probably cite that as one of the reasons why I've had some moderate success in my career, that I've been able to listen to people well and act upon what they've told me.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. And as you say, you've had, I think you're being modest by saying moderate success, but you've had a fair deal of success. But like everyone, I'm sure there has been mistakes along the way. What would you say is sort of your biggest mistake in your career, or something maybe you learnt from the most?
Well, I think earlier on, probably the mistake that you make is that with people is that you should go with your gut feel more often than not on things. And I think earlier in my career, particularly, you tend to give people the benefit of the doubt for too long. So whether that's a member of your team, whether that's a customer, a client, or a candidate, you know, I think go with your gut feel, probably make decisions earlier, I would say is probably the thing that I wish I'd done.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you feel like as you've gone through your career, you've got a lot better at that? Has that come through judgment, experience?
Yeah, it comes through judgment, comes through getting old, getting less tolerant, being more impatient. And a lot of the people that I've worked with over the years, I think because we've been, what I would like to say, are decent people, you tend to give people the benefit of the doubt a lot of the time. But I think sometimes we just do it a bit longer than we need to, and therefore be decisive quicker.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, good. And one thing that's sort of, I think, right in saying you sort of pride yourself on is sort of your appearance. You're very well groomed, if I may say so. I think
You may.
yes. And another thing, a phrase that I've heard you use a lot is the early bird gets the worm. Often the first in the office. So, as an aside to those out there that don't know you so well, what does your morning routine consist of, Rod?
Well, I think routine's the key word, Andy.
Yeah.
And again, it's something that as you get a bit older, I think you tend to get a little bit more set in your ways, the way you do things. So, I come into the office sometimes and between the hours of, 7:45 and 10:30, 11 o'clock, people are having their breakfast here.
Yeah.
I have my breakfast at home.
What time's that, Rod?
Every day. So that'll be about 7 o'clock.
Oh, very good.
So I get up, get showered, and I've always got up early because earlier in my career, in the last business I was involved with, I was based up in Windsor. So you had to get out of the house early in order to beat the traffic. So, and I think that stayed with me. So I'm still an early riser. I've never been one to work late into the evening. 6, 7 o'clock, that's me done.
Pub time.
Gin and tonic time. And that's probably my switch off then. But early in the morning, get up, get going, get in the office.
Good. Okay, good. And you often say to us that sort of both you and Richard say to us as founding members that Venture in Chilworth has been one of your successful ventures, pardon the pun. Whilst obviously it's a family show, what makes you and Dickie, as we call him, or Richard, work well together?
Well, I think a business partnership it's a bit like a marriage, to be honest. You've got to work at it.
Who works more, Rod?
I work more. He spends the money. But Richard or Dickie, as we know and love him, we got together back in 1990. That was the first time we worked together. It was the first time we met, and we bring different things to the table, different things to the party. So Dickie is extremely good at things that I could never hope to get involved in, and vice versa. And it's worked well. We don't always see eye to eye. In fact, in a lot of cases, we sometimes have some stand-up rows about things. But generally, even after one of those sessions, and there aren't many of them, even after one of those sessions, we'll still shake hands and go for a beer.
Good.
So I think that different skill set, those opposites, work well.
Yeah, and whilst we're sort of on the setting up a business, new ventures, there's a number of people that will be watching this, I'm sure, that are recruiters and sort of potential recruitment leaders of the future who may be considering setting up their own business. That's an option. What was it that sort of eventually sort of drove you to take that path, and how were those first few months? Because I imagine it's quite a daunting thing to do.
Yes, it is. Well, I suppose I was given an opportunity to be involved in some ownership of a business in my last company that I worked at, and I think once you've had a taste for that, it's very difficult to go back again. So when that particular journey came to an end with that business, it was, okay, I don't think I can go and work for anyone else again. So I didn't really have a lot of choice, to be honest, Andy. And Dickie happened to be coming to the end of what he was doing as well. So we sat down in Winchester and had a coffee one day, and I said, should we get something going? And I think we both agreed on certain ground rules for that to happen. I said, well, let's do it. But two things. One, we've got to have an office. And two, we need an office manager because we're going to be out and about talking to people, et cetera, et cetera. And we also agreed fairly early on that it wasn't going to be a lifestyle business, although probably didn't expect it to get to quite the size it is now. I sort of envisaged that we'd get to about 11 or 12 people and that would be it. But there we go.
Yeah, as you say, moderate success. Good. And obviously for those who don't know, your son, Tom, is also in financial recruitment. The question a lot of us want to know, who's the better financial recruiter, you or Tom?
Well, that's a really good question. He would definitely, because Tom is not short of confidence, he would definitely sit here now and say that he is. I think I'm secretly I'm very proud of what Tom's achieved in recruitment. He said a while ago, before he started, that he thought he'd have a go at this recruitment game. Could he come and work with me? And I said, absolutely not. That's never going to happen. So he went and worked and got trained by a big company, and then he moved to London, and he's done very well. I think like Tom and people of your age, like Tom as well, the one thing, you're much quicker. The way you do things now and technology, so speed, I think, is of the essence in a lot of recruitment situations. Tom's good, but he's got a lot to learn, although he makes some big fees. So I'd probably say I am the better recruiter.
We all knew the answer to that anyway. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess obviously the podcast, we'll be speaking to various people over the coming weeks, is about sort of leadership, and hence the name, the balance sheet. Obviously we work in financial recruitment, but it is a balance between sort of motivation, saying sort of the right things at the right time. So how throughout your career, and again, we'll be asking this question to all our interviewees, how do you find the balance between sort of being one of the guys, but also having the clout and the leadership to be able to lead from the front?
It's difficult. It's difficult, and I don't really ever consider that I've been particularly good at it. I think people, it's a bit like football management. There are some players that respond well to an arm around the shoulder. There are others that respond quite well to a kick up the arse.
Which am I, Rod?
Definitely a kick up the arse. No, you're not actually. So I think probably it's trying to find out what makes your people tick. We're all different, and everyone out there in the office, they're all different personalities. And you've got to remember, people have got stuff going on in their private lives. They've got stuff going on at home as well. There's lots of you now that have got young families, all those sort of things to consider. And it's a very different workplace now to how it was when I was your age as well. So need to take all that on board and take that into account as well. But I think the key is trying to treat your people as individuals. To get the best out of them. Yeah,
brilliant. No, it's great. Look, thank you so much for taking the time, Rod. It's really nice to hear about your career, but also get an understanding of the man behind the myth and the legend.
The man behind the lemon drizzle.
The man behind the lemon drizzle.
Indeed.
So thank you guys for watching. This has been The Balance Sheet.